about Champ, because that's some things you hear. Champ has been working now for 10 or 11 years to bring people together, to build up good relationships between Britain and Ireland, between Britain and both parts of Ireland, and I think it's been going successfully. And the fact that you're all here, you know, it's not St. Patrick's Day anymore, it's not even St. Patrick's Week, it seems to be St. Patrick's Fortnight. So, and I'm delighted Taoiseach is here because he's been coming now for several years, and he made the rash promise that he would come every year. It's an amazing undertaking, and we're delighted he's staying with it, and he's actually keeping to his word, and that's wonderful to have the Taoiseach here. He'll be introduced in a minute, as will the Secretary of State, as will Ed Miliband. That's how it's going. Let me just thank the sponsors, because we've got 2 or 3 sponsors. If I can read my handwriting, we've got Niall Gibbon, who will be speaking in a minute on behalf of Tourism Ireland. They're the 6 sponsors. We've got HS2 Insurance, and we've got some people who are giving you a little gift at the end, some little tiles. Okay, I can't read the writing. McCall's tiles. A little gift for you all. Okay. So thank you for being here, and I'm going to ask Niall of Tourism Ireland to do the introduction of the next 3 speakers. Okay, and then at the end of it, I'll say something afterwards.
Thank you very much, Ambassadors Taoiseach, Secretary of State, distinguished guests. It's great to be here again at Westminster for the annual Champ Tourism Ireland St. Patrick's Day reception, celebrating British-Irish relations. Today is the start of a major programme of festivals and events taking place worldwide, with parades and celebrations at what is a great time, I think, to be from the island of Ireland. Tonight you will see the London Eye turn green this evening, as it will be again on St. Patrick's Day. And that, along with another 100 icons around the world, including the Pyramids at Giza, the Sydney Opera House, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, why are you laughing? The Empire State Building, and yes, even the Moulin Rouge will be going. The Moulin Rouge was announced today will be becoming the Moulin Vert on St. Patrick's Day. It is a tribute to the image of the patron saint of our island, and indeed a tribute to the 70 million people around the world who claim Irish ancestry. We saw many of these people come home last year, with the Gathering and Derry Londonderry UK City of Culture being major promotional platforms. It's important to remember that 45% of the 8 million people who visited the island of Ireland in 2013 came from Britain. And those 8 million visitors contributed 3.7 billion to the economies on the island and supported 200,000 jobs. As an agency that promotes the entire island, north, south, east and west, this year we see the launch of the Wild Atlantic Way, a 2,500 kilometre journey from Kinsale in County Cork all the way up to the northern tip in Donegal, linking in with the Causeway coastal route, which you can drive the beautiful Antrim coast around to Titanic Belfast. There genuinely has never been a better time to visit. As a cross-border organisation established under the Good Friday Agreement, I want to pay tribute to all those people who have worked to help Tourism Ireland achieve its goals. The 150 staff around the globe who do a fantastic job, who make me very proud where I come from. Our ambassadors, including Dan Mulhall, who is this evening, our Taoiseach and our government, and the Northern Ireland administration as well, for their support in promoting our island's most important indigenous industry. I have to say, British-Irish relations go from strength to strength, as you can see from the photograph behind me. If my mother had thought that we'd be using the Queen to promote Ireland 10 years ago, she might have scratched her head. But that being said, we saw the great impact of the visit of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in 2011. I was delighted to be there at the State Dinner, and we look forward to being part of the first ever state visit of President Higgins here to the United Kingdom next month. Finally, I just want to compliment the entire Champ team for their endeavours, but particularly I want to thank James Winston and also Judith Cassidy from the Tourism Ireland team, who put a huge amount of work into making this day possible. So can I finish off by saying a very happy St. Patrick's Day to all. I hope you enjoy this evening, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Theresa Villiers.
Thank you, Taoiseach, Ambassador, distinguished guests. It's great to be here for Champ's annual St. Patrick's Day reception in Parliament. I'd like to thank James Winston and his team for organising what has become the biggest and best St. Patrick's event in Parliament. And I'd also like to thank Tourism Ireland and the generous sponsors of this evening. The Prime Minister sadly has to send his apologies this evening, but he's asked me to pass on his St Patrick's Day greetings and wishes the event every success. It was, of course, the Prime Minister's personal decision to take the G8 summit to beautiful County Fermanagh in June, giving the world the chance to see the very best of Northern Ireland. Later this week I'll be heading to Washington for the events which will take place there, and I and many others in this room, I'm sure, will be banging the drum for Northern Ireland as a brilliant place to visit, invest and do business. Just as the Prime Minister did at the G8 and at the investment conference in Belfast in September. And on a bipartisan note, it's great to see so many different political parties represented here amongst my colleagues. It's good to see my shadow, Ivan Lewis, here tonight, and the Leader of the Opposition. I gather Ivan will also be heading to the US shortly as part of that general migration of politicians from north and south across the island of Ireland to engage with Washington. Though I think all of us might have to take a break at some point on Saturday to follow the fate of the Six Nations to see whether England or Ireland are crowned the champions. But my biggest thanks tonight go to Taoiseach Enda Kenny. It's a very great honour for me to be able to welcome you here to Parliament as our distinguished guest. One of the most memorable moments of my past year in office has been standing shoulder to shoulder with you at the Cenotaph at Enniskillen on Remembrance Sunday. I'm sure your presence there meant a huge amount to the people of that remarkable town. Taoiseach, your third annual summit with the Prime Minister